Hello and welcome to Let's Get Growing, and we're getting towards the end of January. It's quite a cold, a grey, misty day today. I'm back in all my many layers. So I thought what we'd do today, instead of doing packs and more, there's not a lot of things that we can sew just yet, but what I wanted to show you how to do was how to build your own wormery. So this is, I'm here on the garden at Bulwell Forest Garden, and this is one of our wormeries, and it's so, what are the benefits to having a wormery? So I only recently got interested in wormeries, and the main reason I got interested in them is because I wanted to compost at home and wanted to compost on my allotment, but I was having problems with rats. So in my traditional compost heap, it was attracting rats, and the rats were going in and burrowing in and eating the food, and obviously I don't want to attract rats, but most of the compost was ending up sort of being kicked everywhere. So the beauty of a wormery is that it's very self-contained, so it's got a good lid on it, and that a rat, it doesn't attract rodents, and also it's got a lid on, so it doesn't attract flies if it's managed correctly. So the beauty of a wormery also is that if you can use all your kitchen scraps, so we don't put meat or dairy in and sort of limit the amount of citrus and onion that we put in, but it means that most of your other kitchen scraps you can reuse, and it makes this great compost, which is really good for on the top of plant pots. And also there's a liquid which I can show you later that comes out of the bottom of it, that's really good for diluting, like you would use it a comfrey brew for as a plant feed, and that's brilliant for tomatoes and things later in the summer. So basically all you need is a good container with a lid on, and the worms like it dark, so don't rush off buying a really thin sort of see-through container, because they won't like that. They need it to be dark, and you also need quite strong, if you're using plastic, it needs to be quite strong because you're going to drill into it. And the thinner sort of plastic ones, a bit like this down here, that one, they don't work very well, so don't. So these ones, they're from Boots, and I found these, so they've got a good lid on, so I'm going to show you. So all you need is a good container and a drill. So the first thing we're going to do, so if you look at our existing one here, you'll see that there's holes drilled in the top around here, and they go all the way around it, and the purpose for doing this is so that the worms can breathe in there. So I've got my drill, I've got my box. Let's start drilling. Might take me a while. Okay, that's it. So I've got holes all around here at the top of my box, and that's so the worms can breathe all the way around. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to think about the bottom of the box. So we need to be able to let the moisture, the worm juice, drain away, otherwise the worms are going to drown. So I'm going to drill some holes in the bottom of my box next thing. Okay, I'm going to get rid of all the little plastic bits. So you can see I've got to put lots of holes for drainage on the bottom, and then probably lots of, try and get rid of these plasticky bits the drill holes have made. Empty those out, and then voila, we have a wormery. So what do we do next? So next job, so our wormery is going to sit in a tray like this one with no holes in it on 2 bricks, so that the moisture from inside the wormery can drain into here, and I'll show you some of the juice in a little while. So first job, what we're going to do in the bottom of here is we're going to put some kind of housing, like bedding material in the bottom. So I've got kind of selection of things here mixed up. I've got some sort of oldish Lashes leaf mould that's partially rotted down in the bottom of there, and then I've got some leaves from this year, and then I've also got some kind of straw. This is from like guinea pig housing, and I'm going to mix this up, put this in the base. So that should be a good starter for them. Right, next job, some worms. So we're going to go into our existing wormery, but there is lots on the compost heap as well out there, so it's not too smelly. Can get a bit smelly in summertime. So you can see here we've got these some scraps, kitchen scraps that I put on a few days ago. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under here, see what we can find. So we're going to go into this layer here. Ooh, look at that. Can you see them? They don't like light. So I'm going to try and get a good clump here. See what I can find under there. So I've got some worms in there. They create like little feeding pockets, so I'm going to put them in. I'm going to try and get quite a few, because this is an established sort of colony of worms now. Ooh, a robin would like that. I'm just going to spread them out in the bottom and get some more. Some little baby ones. Whoa, there's loads in there. So that should be a good starter for this wormery, I think. I'm going to leave quite plenty in here so that these ones aren't depleted. So I've added my worms. Now I'm going to add a selection of materials. So I've got some wet bits of cardboard that I've ripped up. The smaller the better really with wormeries. So in here we've got a selection of sort of, there's some kitchen scraps, potato peelings, carrot peelings, there's a bit of lettuce, cardboard. I think there's some coffee granules in here. Tea bags are good, but there's not, some of them I've got plastic in, so I probably won't be putting them in. But some varieties, some makes are plastic free, so you better go in with them really if you're going to compost or put your tea bags in a wormery. So I'm going to add all of this. So the smaller it's chopped up the better, and the quicker the worms will eat it. So that'll do for now. Don't want to put too much in because we're just starting this one off. We want them to settle in. Well, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover them up. They really like this, it keeps them warm. I'm going to cover them up with some cardboard. Keeps them nice and warm and dark. I like being under there. I'm going to close my lid. And if you haven't got a box with a lid in, you could still, if you had a strong box like this, you could improvise, put a board over the top, probably with some bricks on it or some weights on it so that sort of rats can't pull it off and get into it. But so that's it. So all I need now is one of these trays. So this has got, it should fit in there I think, it's got no holes in it, so probably just get a couple of bricks and then lift this onto here. So at the moment what I'm doing is I'm keeping the wormeries inside the polytunnel, and I've sort of wrapped them up because they don't like frost. You can put all sorts in as well. I put bits of sheep wool in, and I do put a little bit of cooked food in, I don't put loads in. But I mean the brilliant thing is that you can just use all that your waste, your kitchen waste and your vegetable waste isn't going into you know, it isn't going to this incinerator, and it's getting used and it's getting recycled into something that's incredibly useful to you as a gardener, and especially for people who only got small gardens and growing in pots. So there's lots and lots of benefits. I was going to try and show you what kind of stuff. I mean, this hasn't been growing that long, this wormery, but if we get down to the bottom you'll see it's starting to become, it's changed quite a lot, it's starting to become like this dark, lovely dark sort of compost in the base, and it's really it's got a lot of nutrition for plants. So the other thing I wanted to show you was worm juice. So these are our other two existing wormeries that were set up last year. As you can see, they're covered up with fleece, what an old blanket would do, just to keep the frost off them. And this is the tray that they're sitting in. So this is the worm juice at the bottom that I was telling you about. So that's this liquid here. And you get darker and actually more beneficial for plants the longer your wormery is established. So these quite sort of new wormeries really, they're not even a year old, but we've already got this sort of liquid stuff. Don't worry, I'm not going to drink it. It doesn't really smell of anything. You think it smells of anything, Vaughn?
A bit earthy.
A bit earthy. See this wormery here, this is a different design. This is one that we got from Anna at the Urban Worm farm, and it's two food storage boxes, one inside another. So this one's got the holes around it, and so instead of having it in a tray, the liquid is collected in the bottom of here, and it's got a tap on. So that's a different design. But you have to make sure that you're emptying it quite often, otherwise the water will be sort of inside the inner container where the worms are, and then they'd be drowning. So anyway, it's very easy, I hope you'll agree. So if you want to have a go, if you need any more information or advice, please feel free to get in touch via our Facebook page. If you make one, please show us your photographs. And if you want sort of some housing material, sort of leaf compost, or some of the guinea pig sort of shavings and the worms, obviously we can provide you with them to get you started. But the first thing you would need to do is get your container prepared, and yeah, have a go. It's brilliant. Worms are great. Okay, thanks for watching and happy gardening.